the essence of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent.
How many men have children and the children never meet their father? See, you created a void in that child because you are a part of that child.
Black power! Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Black power!
Are you feeling fatigued and can barely make it through the day without some type of caffeine?
Are you on a journey of healing your body but need a little help?
Then alkaline water is what you really need.
Alkaline water has many benefits. Alkaline water can help restore pH balance in the body. Consuming beverages such as soda and coffee can make your body acidic.
Did you know that too much acid in your body has been linked to an anemia, heart disease, obesity, diabetes, autoimmune disease, chronic pain, and other chronic conditions like gout and arthritis?
Those who use alkaline water have reported increased energy levels, clearer skin, reduction in inflammation, better digestion, and many other health benefits. I've used alkaline water for years, and it's been instrumental in sustaining my health when I was diagnosed with sarcoidosis.
Are you ready to take responsibility for your body's health?
If the answer is yes, then our alkaline water is just what you need. Bring your own bottles. It's only $3 for each gallon. To place an order or for more information, you can reach us at 773-846-3091. Thank you in advance for your support.
Hi, my name is Sister Ebony Stevenson. I am your announcer for today. Welcome to the Toma Nation's weekly Sunday worship service from 12 p.m. to 2 p.m. every Sunday at 616 East 71st Street here in Chicago, Illinois, and also live on Facebook. If you would like more information, you can reach us at www.facebook.com/TomaNation2 or give us a call at 773-952-8302. Now I am going to recite our opening. In the name of the eternal divine spirit, the one that causes all that exists to exist, the one that is self-existent, the one who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and the one who made time the seed of the universe, known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aten, among the Hebrews as Ansar, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims and Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribes of West Africa as Olumare, Eshu, and many other Orisha names. I bear witness that all these names refer to the same one, Almighty Spirit, and it is to that essence which I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the Lost 13 Tribe, born in North America and are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nations of the earth flows through our veins. I greet you in the ancient but holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. Now I'm going to recite the 13 points of what we believe and know. Number 1. We believe and know that we are not to repeat the mistakes of the past prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator of the heavens and earth. Number 2. We believe and know that we can only establish an economic base through the application of the knowledge of self and the incorporation of the ideologies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mahatma Gandhi, and Ben Ami. Number 3. We believe and know that the prophets and messengers of the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, and the Kemetic Holy Books were all black. Number 4, we believe and know that Jesus Christ of 2,000 years was and is a black man. Number 5, we believe and know that the knowledge of the Almighty Creator goes beyond books written by the prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator. Number 6, we believe and know that in order to promote and coordinate unity, we must first recognize and accept the uniqueness of being able to worship our Creator, regardless of religious denomination, name, title, ritual, particular dress, or holy book, as long as it recognizes the Almighty Creator of the heavens, earth, and the universe as supreme. Number 7, we believe and know that it is impossible to tell the truth without exposing the wicked governments of the world. Number 8, we believe and know that the United States government, in collaboration with other European nations, have a denial objective to exterminate dark-skinned people of color off the earth through the act of genocide. Number 9, we believe and know that some of the most effective methods that are being used today are AIDS, birth control, alcohol and drug abuse, vaccinations, gang and domestic violence, systematic elimination of trauma centers, the public school system, and public aid within the black communities of America and the world. Number 10, we believe and know that the last trick that Satan is playing on us is the dividing of us by our religious differences, religious gangbanging. Number 11, we believe and know that the conflict between the various religions are comparable to the conflict between various street gangs within the inner cities of America. Number 12, we believe and know that the war on drugs and gangs is a diabolical plot to disarm the black community of weapons, break up the black family, withdraw our constitutional rights, also kill and incarcerate young black males under the undercover code name Able 2029. And number 13, we believe and know that every letter, shape, sound, and numerical value contains esoteric information that completely transcends the specific contextual meaning of the word. Our purpose: to bring about the growth of a righteous community in accordance with the laws of the Creator of the universe, under the leadership and guidance of Brother Minister Raheem Quasad Oxen, to provide solutions to the social and economic ills that plague the communities of urban America. Our goal: to re-educate and retrain youth and young adults to develop positive moral values as an alternative to delinquent behaviors, because you can't rebuild a community and not rebuild the minds of the residents of the community to meet the responsibilities of maintaining the community's image. Our mission: to enhance the economic development of our communities by establishing businesses, real and personal property, thereby creating jobs and or entrepreneurship training programs that will reverse the concept of leaving the community to buying back the community. Our motto: let your light so shine before men that they shall see your good works and glorify your Father which is in heaven. Matthew 5:16. Now we're going to recite our salute to the red, black, and green flag. Everyone put your right fist in the air and repeat after me. Here's to this flag of mine, the red, black, and green. Hopes in its future bright, Africa has seen. Here's to the red of it, great nations shall know of it. In time to come, red blood shall flow of it. Historians shall write of it, this flag of mine. Here's to the black of it, 400 million's back of it, whose destiny depends on it. The red, black, and green of it, oh flag of mine. Here's to the green of it, young men and women shall dream of it, face shots and shells for it, maidens shall sing of it, waving so high. Here's to the whole of it, colors bright and pole of it, pleased is my soul with it, regardless of what is told of it. Thanks to God for giving him this great flag of mine. Please keep your right fist raised high in the air as we sing our Black National Anthem. Black power, black power, black power. Black power is the power to define, develop, and defend that which is in the best interest of Black people. Establish an economic base through the application of the knowledge of self and the incorporation of the ideologies of the Honorable Marcus Garvey, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, Mahatma Gandhi, and Ben Ami. Number 3, we believe and know that the prophets and messengers of the Holy Bible, the Holy Quran, and the Kemetic Holy Books were all Black. Number 4, we believe and know that Jesus Christ of 2,000 years was and is a Black man. Number 5, we believe and know that the knowledge of the Almighty Creator goes beyond books written by the prophets and messengers of the Almighty Creator. Number 6, we believe and know that in order to promote and coordinate unity, we must first recognize and accept the uniqueness of being able to worship our Creator, regardless of religious denomination, name, title, ritual, particular dress, or holy book, as long as it recognizes the Almighty Creator of the heavens, earth, and the universe as supreme. Number 7, we believe and know that it is impossible to tell the truth without exposing the wicked governments of the world. Number 8, we believe and know that the United States government, in collaboration with other European nations, have a denial objective to exterminate dark-skinned people of color off the earth through the act of genocide. Number 9, we believe and know some of the most effective methods: alcohol and drug abuse, vaccinations, gang and domestic violence, systematic elimination of trauma centers, the public school system, and public aid within the Black communities of America and the world. Number 10, we believe and know that the last trick that Satan is playing on us is the dividing of us by our religious.
Greetings, brothers and sisters. I apologize. We were experiencing
some technical difficulties. But thank you so much for joining us for our weekly Sunday worship service here at the Toma Nation. Come and be fed by God's messengers. If you like this lecture or any of our previous lectures, or you would like to learn more information about how you can learn more about the Toma Nation or come to any of our upcoming events, you can always feel free to drop us a message on Facebook or YouTube at Toma Nation 2. And then also you can text us at 773-846-3091. I am going to begin by reciting our opening. In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and he who made time the seed of the universe, excuse me, the beneficent, the most merciful. I'm sorry, my head had brain freeze right there. No, so sometimes if you're familiar with Toma, you know we have our opening, and then we also have something known as the humility prayer, and then the beginning starts out kind of like the same. So we're all human and we all make mistakes. So I'm gonna start back from the beginning. In the name of the everlasting Father, he that causes all that exists to exist, he that is self-existent, he who directs the sunships of millions and trillions of years, and he who made time the seed of the universe, known among the ancient Kemites or Egyptians as Amun-Ra and Aten, among the Hebrews as Ansof, Yahweh, and Elohim, among the Christians as Lord, God, and Jehovah, among the Muslims and Islamic world as Allah, the one God, among the Rastafarians as Jah Rastafari, among the Yoruba tribes of West Africa as Eshu, Olodumare, and many other Orisha names, I bear witness that all of these names refer to the same one, Almighty God, and it is to him whom I give reverence and to whom I submit. I boldly proclaim that we, the descendants of those black men and women who survived the transatlantic slave trade, are the Lost 13 tribe, born here in North America, and are of a Nubian Kemetic lineage. I further proclaim that the blood of all the nation earth flow through our veins. I greet you in the ancient yet holy words of peace, Hotep, Shalom, Assalamu alaikum, Habaragani, Alafia, and Ashe. So I know sometimes when we do our lectures, I don't want to assume that always people know exactly what I'm talking about. And today I'm going to be talking about servant leadership. And like when you think about it, if I were to ask 10 people, what is the definition of a servant? 10 people would have 10 different answers, right? And you would have a different answer like if you ask just somebody who, is not from a faith-based background what a servant is versus if you ask somebody who is from a faith-based background what a servant is. And so everyone's definition is different. What Google says that the definition of a servant is. And so a servant, according to the dictionary, aka Google, is a person who performs duties for others. In a spiritual sense, a devoted and helpful follower or supporter. Think churches, mosques, synagogues, right? Servants, a devoted, helpful follower or supporter. And like even when you connect it to, like let's say the Holy Bible, a tireless servant of God. So let's look at when you think about a servant in one hand, and then you think about a leader in the other hand, and then you combine the two together. So what is a servant leader? A servant leader is a leader, remember, leader, not a follower, who prioritizes serving others and pushing others' leadership development and growth and well-being over their own personal power or recognition. So it's somebody who is uplifting right, the people who are under them, right, the people who are following them, right, over their own personal power and recognition. Now, this emphasizes humility and selflessness. Can you be a true leader and not have the attributes of humility and selflessness? Now, in this definition of a certain leader, you have this servant who is acting, to create an environment where all of the people on their team, whether you are in school and you are a leader of a group, or whether you are at your job and you are a leader of a team, right? Or if you're in a religious based institution and you are a leader in the organization, it could even be a nonprofit organization. You can be a program director or you can be a volunteer leader, right? So in all of these spaces, you're creating an environment where the people who follow you can thrive, right? You're building community, and your goal is to make sure that all of the people under you can do what? Achieve their highest potential. And so, key attributes and behaviors of servant leaders include empathy, active listening. Can you be a good servant leader if you don't listen to your people? Stewardship of resources. Can you be a good servant leader if you do not be respectful and steward the resources properly? This could be money resources. This could be, like having a space, right? This could be volunteers, right? These are all resources. People are resources. Can you be a servant leader if you're not committed to empowering others and promoting a sense of shared purpose? And so these are very important aspects if you are currently in a leadership position, or if you're thinking about being in a leadership position, right? Everybody can be a follower. Some of us have to step across the line and be leaders. And so when you look at thinking about servant leadership, what's something that comes to mind? When you are a servant leader, what are you providing to others? A service, right? It doesn't have to be when we always think about servant, monetary. No. When you are a servant leader, you are providing a service to the people who are following you, whether you view it as a service or not, right? And so a servant's leader's core identity is that of a servant, and their primary goal is to serve the needs of their followers. And so, you're looking at how can you focus on growth? If you have people who are following you and they're in the same position that they were when they started following you, then you should consider whether or not your leadership is actually effective. Because when you are a servant leader, you have to constantly do what? How do you determine whether or not your leadership is effective? Evaluation, right? You have to constantly evaluate yourself based off of the growth of your followers. Are the people around you growing, right? Are they learning new skills, right? Are they having different mindsets, right? Are they expanding their horizons, right? If they're not, then you should question if the mentorship or the service from being a leader that you're providing is actually effective. What's some of the other attributes of a servant leader? Community building. You have to be able to foster a strong sense and community within whatever team that you're providing the service to, right? And so I just wanted to share that because, like I said, everyone has different ideas or different definitions about service, especially when it's related to community, especially when it's related to leadership, because everybody says they're a leader, right? Everybody wants to be the big L, right? But nobody wants to be a follower, right? But not everyone has the skills to be a leader. And we all who serves in leadership positions can be more effective leaders. Now let's connect servant leadership with what's going on as we find ourselves today. Because we know it's a lot going on the world scene. It's a lot going on in our country. And so we have to look at right now, when we are looking at just the way that society is going, the way that our government is going, we have to understand that we're at a crossroads. We're at a true crossroads. And so while the world is shouting loud with politics, right? Like you can't get away from it. It's on the news, it's on your social media feed. It doesn't matter if you're on Twitter, if you're on X, or if you're on TikTok, if you're on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, if you're on YouTube. It's all coming through. And so the whole world is alive with politics and what's going on with America and the ramifications of it, right? And, it's a situation where we have, once again, politics and profits and personalities over people, right? Nobody is caring about the regular smuggler folks, right? If you're not a billionaire, right? And as we see, if you're not a multi-billionaire, like you don't have a seat at the table. And so we're seeing once again, our leaders are promising us heaven while they're selling us more chains. We've watched these systems over and over and over again feed our pain and call it policy. And yet, in the middle of all the noise, of the shutdowns and everything that's going on, that's attacking your mind all day, every day, God is whispering to us a simple yet command that he put in place from the very beginning. And it's a command that can shake the earth. It's a command that can shake communities. It's a command that can shake your very household. Do you want to know what that command is? Serve. Serve. Let's look at Yeshua, for example. Did Yeshua say, hey, Rome, they doing what colonizers do, and my people fed up, so we gonna get it. How sometimes I can be facetious when I'm talking, but I hope you can picture this visual that I just had in my mind, right? So Yeshua wasn't like, hey, everybody get squared up, everybody go buy weapons because we about to fight against Rome, right? Yeshua didn't say, hey, let's get our army together and let's start training because we about to attack Rome. Yeshua didn't storm thrones. He served. He washed feet. He didn't exploit the crowd. He didn't exploit his people. He multiplied the bread. He didn't try to use the downtrodden to come up. He didn't try to exploit his own people to get the next. And I say this because we see this all the time with all the tables that we sit at and all the conversations that we have been a part of. During times like this, sometimes our people have, you got to tell the truth, right? During times of crisis, we've become more colonizer than the colonizer, and we can lean towards exploitation and not upliftment, right? We can lean towards exploitation and not service. And so look at the example and the blueprint that Yeshua set. He didn't tax the hungry. What did he do? He fed them. He showed us that the power to transform a nation, it didn't begin with domination. It began with dedication, with service. And so when we look at this political climate where we see greed masquerading as greatness and division is a campaign strategy, because we already know the more divided we are as a people, the more everybody else benefits. We should be tired of the okie doke, of them throwing the dart over here and we run over here, and then they throw the dart over here and we run over here, and we're spending our whole lives running from here to here, back and forth, and we never get a chance to make strategy and execute strategy. Make strategy, execute strategy, rewash and repeat. And so our survival depends
on rediscovering divine art of service, the divine art of providing value. What value are you providing? You can even look at it as something as simple as, let's say you're the head of a family. What value are you providing to your family? Do you take care of your family? Right? Do you help your family get from point A to point B? Are you strategizing with your family about how they can be better human beings and about how they can survive and not get beyond surviving to thrive, with Black people being on the economic bottom? Like, how are you providing service to your family? Do you secure your family? Make sure that they are secure. That's providing service to your family. How do you provide service to your community? Right? If you're a student, how are you providing value to your peers? We have to think about these things because service doesn't have to be a big thing. You can start out service doing something small. There's something, and you should look it up. It's a terminology or a statement that they use, and it's called the superhero myth, right? And the superhero myth is, I gotta be I gotta do these big things in order to be a superhero, right? Like, I gotta be like Martin Luther King, right? I gotta be like Malcolm X, right? I gotta be like Harriet Tubman, right? I gotta be like Nat Turner. Yeah, I threw Nat Turner in there. I mean, yeah, I did. Right? But you don't have to be or do these big, huge acts of service to be a servant. It can be something as simple as you see your neighbor struggling carrying their groceries up the stairs, and you be like, hey, you need some help? It can be something as simple as starting out when you're going in a grocery store and holding the door for somebody behind you to get yourself used to doing what? Providing service. We have to start changing our mindset because we have to understand that, the service that I'm talking about is not a service that grovels, right? Because sometimes I think when we talk about servants, right, we sort of connect it subconsciously to slavery, like double S's, right? We'll think about like, I don't want to be a servant. Like, we'll think about like Batman style, like Alfred, like, in a uniform and like being like, oh, Bruce Wayne, would you like me to pour you a cup of tea? Like, no, that's not the kind of service or servant I'm talking about. I'm talking about service that governs, service that builds, service that binds us back together when the world does what? Tries to tear us apart. So we have to look at Black America, us being 13 Tribe, us being the OGs of this planet, the OG vicegerents, right? The OG servant leaders, that we are heirs to a servant leadership. I mean, look at Harriet. She served freedom with fire. Let's look at Ida B. She served truth with her pen. Malcolm and Martin, who served destiny with their lives. And they understood that the gospel of Yeshua is not a passive gospel. It's a gospel that leads to what? Revolution. So we can no longer afford exploitation disguised as entrepreneurship or politics without people. And so we understand that when we talk about building movements, building nations, right, building true collective change, that comes not from DC or City Hall, but from kitchen tables and block club meetings and religious institutions, churches, mosques, right? Synagogues where ordinary people serve each other with what? With extraordinary love, with the servant love, with God's love. And so when we think about feeding our neighbors, when we're out here mentoring our youth, and we're out here building businesses that bless our communities instead of bleed our communities, we are preaching a living gospel. We're preaching Yeshua's gospel, and we're saying to the powers that be, we will not be disposable. We are divine, and we will serve our way into sovereignty. Let that sink a little bit for you. Now, I know my time is coming to hand, but I wanted to, here at Toma Nation, when we make statements, we always tell people, do your own research, right? Like, and we back up what we say with scripture. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. And just for reference, if you're looking at this, if you're watching this lecture or any of our previous lectures, and you would like to follow along when we're reading scripture, we always refer to the standard version of the King James Holy Bible and the Yusuf Ali version of the Holy Quran, just so that you can have those tools. Because the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran are both tools that you can use to reach the next level as you elevate your consciousness. And so let's go to the Holy Bible and Matthew 23, verse 11. But he that is greatest among you shall be your what? Servant. Yeshua shattered worldly logic. And he did this by being an example that greatness is not about control, it's about contribution. A servant's heart transforms power from domination to dedication. And true greatness is measured in how many lives are lifted because you lived. How many lives did you save because of your work, because of your service, because of you being a servant leader? And so we have to look at it as this being real. So many people think, oh, being a leader is just about power and it's about domination. And that's not true. That is a colonizer or a Western perspective that we have adopted, thinking that, oh, you have to be this way to be a leader. And that's not true. You cannot be a leader without providing service. You cannot be a leader without having servant leadership, because leaders do what? They serve. And the more responsibility you carry, the higher up on the hierarchy you are, whether you're a part of an organization or a religious institution or a school or wherever you are a leader in, the more humility you're going to need. That's real, because every community revival begins when someone stops chasing applause, stop chasing posting for the gram, posting for TikTok, right? We want to show everything that we do because we want to get that pat on the back, right? Because we got to get away from that and get back to the example that Yeshua set. How many of you right now will wash somebody's feet? How many of you right now will feed your neighbor? How many of you right now will feed the hungry? Some of y'all saying, that ain't me. I don't want to do that. All I want to do is get the next. That's the reason why leadership and being a servant leadership, it ain't everybody bag. Everybody can't do it. Everybody don't have the right mindset, the right personality. If you hate people, do you think you can be a good leader? Do you think you could be a good servant leader if you don't like people? Can you imagine being in a room and you're like, oh, well, this is the leader of our movement. And they're like, well, how they a leader? They don't even have good people skills. Like, how they leading people, right? You have to understand, you lead where you stand. You can be in your household and you can be the leader of your household, which many of us are. You can be the leader of your children, right? So you have to lead where you stand. You have to serve your family, serve your street, serve your circle, serve your neighborhood, serve your community, because leadership is not a position, people. It's a posture. It's a mindset, right? Let's go to the Holy Quran and let's look at Surah 25, Ayat 63. And the servants of Allah most gracious are those who walk on the earth in, what was the big H? Humility. And when the ignorant address them, they say peace. Wow. That's just like saying you're a servant leader. And we know we got so much stuff going on with us being on the economic bottom and with all the intergenerational trauma that our people have experienced. And we have people in our community who have severe mental health issues. That's just like you minding your business and you standing in the line in the grocery store and somebody just started cussing you out. If you are a true servant leader, do you respond in kind and cuss them out too? Or do you take a step back and think for a second, what is the best way for me to respond? How crazy if somebody's cursing you out and you say, peace, peace. You know, here at Toma, our leader teacher in God, Minister Rahim Kassad Alton, you know, he actually starts saying peace, peace to give people a double portion of peace, especially during these trying times. So if you're familiar with us, or if you've ever been on a phone call with us or been at any of our events, we'll often end with peace, peace, because we want you to have a double portion of peace. And so the Quran and the Holy Bible are saying the same thing as far as when it comes to service. They're the same. It comes from the same spirit. Servants of the Creator are not arrogant or reactive. They answer ignorance with what? Peace, peace. Because real strength is self-control, and service requires discipline and calm in a chaotic world. How do you know the righteous? Because they're doing the exact opposite things that the popular world is doing, right? They're doing the exact opposite things that the sinful world was doing. For us, while the entire world was focused on pushing the vaccine down our throats, we were saying, no, you need to do some more research. You need to boost your immune system. While the whole world was running in one direction, we were running the opposite direction. And that's all thanks to the leadership of our founder and our leader teacher in God, Minister Rahim Kassad Alton. I'm going to give us a couple more scriptures. I know I'm at time, but I still like to back up what I say. With the word. And so let's look at service. Let's go to the Holy Bible, Luke 6:38. Give, and it shall be given unto you, good measure, pressed down and shaken together, and running over shall men give into your bosom. Generosity multiplies itself, right? Your act of service can trigger multitudes. Let's say if you start in the most simple terms, you're a leader in your household. So you're a servant leader of your household. Everybody in the household follow you. Your wife, your partner follows you. Your kids follow you, right? And so let's say you start having to change your mindset. And let's say you say, hey, you know what? I know times are hard, but we know our neighbors are struggling. So the next time we go to the grocery store, the next time we do a grocery order, what we're going to do, we're just going to take $20 and we're just going to get a couple extra so that we can donate it to a local food pantry or a local food drive where they're feeding the community. And your kid's like, you gonna do that? You gonna spend our money and give food to other people? And then you explain to them why and what's going on and how it's important to continue to provide value and to be service in our community, and that just every little bit helps the next person. And then you talk about, you can start to even show them as a practical example of reciprocity, of what it means to you put out there in the environment. A lot of people call it karma, but it's one of the 13 laws, right? And so, and you showing them a practical example. Hey, we're going to put it out there that we're going to help somebody because one day we might need help. And we want to put that energy out there, their energy of service, right? Their energy of helping people so that in case one of us ever need it, that we can get it too, right? Because it comes back to you. And it doesn't come back just single. It comes back multiplied, right? And that means that You know, I know sometimes when we are here on the podium and we speak facts and we're speaking truth, you know, sometimes your mind can get boggled and you're like, it's a lot of words and it's a lot of talking. And you don't know, like, how can I take what I've learned from the Toma Nation and start to practice this in my daily life? I'm going to give you a simple solution. So if I just talked about service and I just talked about servant leadership, and you can serve in your house, you can serve in your community, you can serve at your job, you can serve at your school, that servant leadership begins wherever you stand, wherever you find yourself. You could say, this week, I'm going to give intentionally. I'm not going to wait for nobody to ask. This week, I'm going to provide some time to somebody. I'm going to provide some mentorship to a young person. I'm going to provide some resources. Like I said, you can be like, hey, I'm going to take $20, $30 when I do my next grocery order, and I'm going to buy some extra canned goods and non-perishable items and donate it to my local food pantry. Now we know when we go in our communities, even if you go on the north side, who's the predominantly most people in food pantry lines? It's who? It's us, because we're still below the economic bottom in this country. We're on the rock bottom economically and financially in this country. So yes, we are a lot of times, let's think about it, we're occupying spaces in homeless shelters because we're being evicted and we're losing our jobs and we don't have places to go. We're in the lines trying to get food because the little funds that SNAP gives you doesn't last until the end of the month. And so we have to understand that when you provide service and when you give, you can watch new doors open in unexpected ways. So I'm going to continue going with a couple more scriptures. I know I'm a little bit over, but I just want to get the rest of these out. So let's go to the Holy Quran. Surah 55, ayat 60. Is there any reward for good other than what? Good. Good begets good. Service begets service. It's never wasted. See, because, you know, some of us, we get in position sometimes, and when, you know, we're providing value, we're providing service, like we're doing this and we're doing that, and we're spending a lot of our time. And when when it goes unrecognized by the people that you're providing the service to, and by the people that you're providing the value to, we get to feel a certain kind of way. But we have to understand that service is never wasted. That servant heart, that service energy that you're providing, that you're putting out there in the atmosphere, right? It comes back to you because the Creator, God Himself, repays goodness with increase. When you're doing good things, when you're doing good godly, when you're doing godly things, the Creator will give you increase, protection, and peace. So keep doing good even when it's unseen. Keep doing good even when it's unnoticed. Keep doing good even if the people in your family don't appreciate it. Even if the people in your household, it can be your own children, it can be your own spouse, it can be your own partner, and they don't appreciate it. Do what? Still continue to do good, because the Creator, He keeps perfect accounts. Let's go to the Holy Bible and let's look at Colossians. I always mispronounce that. I hope I said that right, because I want to say Colossian, but I'm going to say Colossians. And if I didn't say it right, forgive me. Let's look at chapter 3, verse 23 to 24. And whatsoever ye do, do it heartily as to the Lord, and not unto men, knowing that of the Lord ye shall receive the reward of inheritance, for ye serve the Lord Christ. So when we talk about, you know, service, right? Work done with the right heart, with the servant's heart, with a godly heart, with a godly mind, is worship. When you teach your kids to say, hey, we're going to give back, we're going to clean the street, or we're going to build this business with integrity. We're not going to be like everybody else. We're not going to try to exploit our people. You know, whatever business that we build is going to have integrity, right? You are ministering to your people. You are showing servant leadership. And the mundane becomes holy when it's done in love, when it's come in love of your people, because we got to love on our people, because we got to love them more than they hate themselves. We got some of our people who get up every single day and they hate who they are. They hate what they look like. They hate their circumstances. And so they spend the whole day from the moment they wake up to the moment they go to bed. It's like, man, them the ones who you be outside sometimes and you'll tell somebody good morning and they like, what's good about it? Right? And so you got to respond in love. I remember somebody actually said that to me. I was somewhere and I was like, good morning. And then it was a guy, it was an older guy. And he was like, good morning. What's good about it? And then I was like, well, I'll tell you one thing that's good about it. The fact that you right now are above the ground and not below it is good, is it not? And he said, okay. I just asked you, I wanted to see what you had to say. And I'm saying, yeah, it's true, because guess what? That moment, that second that you wake up, you open your eyes and you inhale, take that deep breath of the morning air, it's a blessing. Because you got what? You got another opportunity to do good, to do godly. You got another opportunity to walk in what you're supposed to do, to walk in your purpose. You got another opportunity to show people who you really are and whose you really are. So let's go switch over to the Holy Quran. And we're going to look at Surah 2, Ayah 195. And spend in the cause of Allah, and do not throw yourselves into destruction, and do good, for Allah loveth those who do what? Good. God loves those who do good consistently and wisely. Service is not recklessness. It's strategic goodness. It's sustaining yourself so you can sustain others, right? And so think about that. Let's go to the Holy Bible. Proverbs 11, verse 25. The liberal soul shall be made fat, and he that watereth shall be watered also himself. When you invest in others, you're really investing in yourself. When you provide service and servant leadership to others, you're investing in yourself. Communities grow strong when we trade encouragement and service instead of envy. And the generous never go dry, because they water, they pour, always return as rain. The seeds that they sow are constantly being watered. That's that law of reciprocity. That's that law of karma, that the seeds that you sown out there are constantly being watered. And you can do that through service. I'm going to put out another scripture. And like I said, if you would like more information about this lecture or any of our previous lectures, or you would like to come to our next event, please feel free to make a comment on YouTube, or if you're watching on Facebook, or you can also shoot us text at 773-846-3091. So going to the Holy Quran, Surah 57, Ayat 18. For those who give in charity, men and women, and loan to Allah a beautiful loan, it shall be increased manifold to their credit, and they shall have, besides, a generous reward. Because in God's economy, service is a loan that pays what? Eternal interest. The interest that you collect on the service that you provided today is perpetual. It's eternal. It never ends. Every act of kindness, every act of service compounds into spiritual wealth, because your giving is never a loss. It's leverage, right? Let's look at go back to the Holy Bible. As you can see, usually when I'm lecturing, I like to go back between the Holy Bible and the Holy Quran. Let's look at John 13, 14. John chapter 13, verses 14 through 15. If I then, your Lord and Master, have washed your feet, ye also sought to wash one another's feet. For I have given you an example that ye should do as I have what? Done to you. And Yeshua's leadership, he used the basin and the towel as an example. He taught that authority without humility corrupts, but humility sanctifies authority. Washing feet is symbolic of removing the dust of life from others through compassion. You can do that through mentorship. We always talk about the youth do this and the youth do that and the youth downtown and the youth is doing this. How many of you are mentoring a young person? How many of you are committing to lifting them and teaching them and reminding them that they matter? Some of y'all don't even have to walk out the door to find a young person to mentor. Some of y'all got young people in y'all house that y'all see every day. And you get up and you be like, man, I can't wait till they go to school. And then it's the end of the day, man, I can't wait till they go to school in the morning. All of those times are missed opportunities for servant leadership in your very own household. And then I'm going to do 2 more scriptures, and then I'm going to close this out. And then if you would like another version, a part 2 of this lecture, please feel free to drop us a comment in the chat if you're watching on YouTube, or in the comment section if you're watching on Facebook. So let's look at Surah 3, Ayat 134. Those who spend freely, whether in prosperity or in adversity. So you're spending freely, whether you got the funds, right? Or whether you having some challenges. Who restrain anger and pardon all men, for Allah loves those who do what? Good. Allah loves those who do what? Are godly, right? And so service is generosity under pressure. The real test of character is not given when you like, oh, it's Friday night and I just got paid. No, the real test is giving when you still got bills due and someone asks you, oh, I'm hungry, can you just buy me a meal? The real test comes when your life feels tight, right? The real test comes when we have to look at patience and forgiveness on the foundation of community power. When we talk about service, sometimes people be like, well, oh, I remember I used to be in this position and I was a leader and they did me dirty or they did me wrong, so I don't ever want to be a leader again. In order for us to advance as a community, in order for us to advance as a people, we have to look at forgiveness in a different form, right? Our leader, teacher, guide, Minister Rahim Kassadata, he always says, forgiveness is not about the person you're forgiving. It's about you. It's about releasing that burden. Some of us are sitting around here and we're holding in burdens from 1,000 years ago. I'm just being facetious. We're holding in burdens. We holding in grievances of something that happened 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago. And we just holding on to it. And it's stressing us out, right? It's pushing all that cortisol through our body, breaking our body down. It's that anger, that grievance. It's making us sick because we can't let it go. And so we have to release those old grievances, because when you forgive, now, I'm not saying forget, but when you forgive, it frees up energy. It frees up energy, right? Because energy doesn't die. It frees up energy that you can use to do what? That you can use to serve, that you can use to serve your house, serve your community, serve wherever you find yourself in. And that's really important, because somebody got to be a leader. We can't have all leaders and no followers. And let's be honest, in this lecture, there are people walking around here in our community every day that people should not be following, but yet they are following the wrong people. We got to have sometimes a sense of discernment and trust our gut, because sometimes your intuition is vibing off of another person's energy. And sometimes people have bad energy, and we don't trust our intuition enough to say, hey, I mean, this person mouth is saying a lot of good, but what are their actions doing? Like, I'm feeling some kind of way about them. Like, what? Sometimes I know we talk about not to go based off of feelings, but sometimes your mind is connecting to a person's energy and they're like, keep it going. And that's why some of us have had, you have, maybe you were a follower, or maybe you were a person on the team that had a bad leader. And so that made you not want to believe in following behind or having a leader again, that you just out here, being yourself, right? And then being like, because some people be like, oh, well, I don't need no leader. I don't need no leader. I can just live my life. I can lead my own life. Think about it this way. For you to become a star athlete, you got to have a what? A coach. Does anybody become a star athlete and get to the highest level of their field without having a coach? How can you get to the highest level of yourself, the highest level of servant leader, the highest level of vicegerent that the Creator has provided to you if you don't have nobody to teach you the ropes? If you don't have nobody to say, hey, correct your form. Hey, do this way. Hey, do that way. Can you get there by yourself? No. And so I know I said a lot, but this piece around servant leadership was really on my mind this past week. And so, like I said, if you would like a part 2 of this lecture, feel free to drop us a comment on Facebook or YouTube. Termination, we are no longer at 616 East 71st Street. And so social media is really the best way that you can contact us outside of texting. And so if you would like more information about this, our minister gave a fiery lecture last Sunday, and he invited you to reach out to him, to talk about what's going on in the community, to talk about how we can get together and not just, follow the okie doke, but how we can get together as a community, like how we can sit at the table and brainstorm and strategize about how we can focus on minding Black people's business during this time and focus on taking care of each other, taking care of our own people, and not following the masses. Remember, I said going in the opposite direction, because I'm going to close with this. Service is not just a virtue, it's a victory strategy. And Yeshua showed us that the greatest revolution begins with compassion. It begins with loving your people. When Jesus, aka Yeshua, was out there in them streets, was he ministering on everybody? Was he like, talking to everybody? No, he was talking to his own people. He was talking to the chosen. He was talking to God's children. And so you have to do the same thing. We have to choose service over selfishness, because when we build communities, we got to build communities that can't be bought, broken, or bribed. And so the call is clear. We got to lead through love, build through giving, and heal through helping. Let our hands become the new politics. Let our businesses become the new ministries, and our compassion the currency of power. Because every problem that we face as a people, there is a servant waiting to rise. There is somebody who's looking at you to see how you handle things, as an example, to say, hey, they did this. They helped feed the community. You know what I'm saying? They help, do this for their family. Maybe I can do the same thing. So thank you so much for joining us for our Termination weekly Sunday worship service. If you would like more information about this lecture or any of our previous lectures, always feel free to drop us a comment on YouTube or Facebook, or you can shoot us a text at 773-846-3091. Black Power Family.